Hi again, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about subtraction with borrowing. So subtraction is when we start with some amount of stuff, take some of it away, and then count what is left. So for this example, 305 minus 37, our starting amount of stuff is 305. The stuff we're going to take away is 37, and then we're going to count what is left. So we're going to rewrite this problem so that the place values are stacked on top of each other. So we have 305 minus 37. Do our equals bar. So we're going to rewrite this in block form. So first we'll start with 305. So we have 3 flats, 0 rods, so we'll just leave it blank, and 5 singles. And then we have 37, so 0 flats, 3 rods, and 7 singles. So an important thing to remember when we do subtraction is that the starting amount of stuff that we have, no matter what place value we're looking at, the starting amount of stuff we have is going to be on the top, and then what we are taking away is going to be on the bottom. Same within the block form. So for the first subtraction problem that we're going to do within this larger problem is we're just going to look at the ones place or the singles. So first thing we're doing is 5 minus 7. 5 singles minus the 7 singles. Now because 5 is smaller than 7, we are going to need to borrow from another place value. So whenever we need to borrow, we're going to look to the column that's right next door, the one right to the left of the column that we're looking at. So in this case, if we're looking at the singles, we're going to look to borrow from the column next door, the column on the left, and in this case, it would be borrowing from the rods. So if we had rods here, even though we don't, let's just pretend that we did for 1 minute. If we had rods here, what we could do is we could take 1 rod from this column and rewrite it as 10 singles. Because we're working in base 10, we know that 10 of these can be regrouped into the next column. 10 rods regroup into 1 flat, and so on. So in this case, we're just going to do the reverse. So we would be taking 1 rod and rewriting it as 10 singles. But since we have no rods, we have to look again to the next column. Just like here, we had a 0. We can't really borrow anything when we have 0 in a column. So we're going to look to the next column, the one, again, right next door, right to the left. And now we have 3, just like we have 3 flats here. So instead of taking from the rods, first we're going to have to take from the flats. So we're going to take 1 flat, and we're going to cross it out, and we're going to rewrite it as 10 rods. So we're breaking down the 1 flat into 10 rods. Just like here, we're going to cross out the 3, and we're going to make this into 10 rods, or 10 in the tens place. And since we only have 2 flats left over after we got rid of or broke down this 1 flat, we're going to write a 2 up here. Because we had 2 left over in this column, or this place value. So now, if we go back to our 5 minus 7, we still have the same issue, right? We still have a smaller number on top of a larger number. So now, we're going to cross out one of these rods, just like what we did with the flats. Cross out one of the rods, and we'll rewrite it as 10 singles. So we're just breaking down 1 rod into 10 singles. And same thing here. So we're going to cross out the 10 because we no longer have 10 rods. Now we only have 9. So we'll rewrite a 9 on top. And now, since we added 10 singles over here, we're going to just add that 10, these 10, we're going to group them in with the 5 on top so that we can have a bigger number on top of the smaller number. So we're going to rewrite this 5 as 15 because we added 10 singles to these 5 singles. So now let's look at the problem again. We have 15 minus 7. That works, right? Because we have a bigger number on top of a smaller number. Just like here, we have 15 singles and 7 singles. So if we cross out one single for each of these, or one single from this group for each of these singles, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's count how many we have left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll bring these 8 singles down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know that 15 minus 7 in our numerical problem is going to be 8. Now we can do the same thing with the rods. So we're going to go one place value over, one column over. So we have 9 minus 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rods minus 1, 2, 3 rods. So we'll cross out again, one for each. 1, 2, 3. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rods left over. We know that 9 minus 3 is 6, so we're going to bring a 6 down here. And we have 2 flats up top, 0 flats down below. So we know that 2 flats minus no flats is just going to give us 2 flats. 2 minus 0 is 2. And we have our answer. 305 minus 37 is 268. And we rewrite that in our block form. We have 2 flats, 6 rods, and 8 singles. So we know now, from subtraction, we started with some amount, 305. We took some away, we took 37 away, and we counted what is left over. So 305 minus 37 is 268.